So here I've got a Linn Kairn Pre-amplifier, and we're going to look at what you need to do to change the backup battery in this thing. And so the first thing we need to do is take the outer cover off, and to do that it's easy enough. You know, there's 4 screws on the underside, and then this just slides off, and then we can look at getting the front panel off from there. So once we've got the outside cover off, to get the front panel off we need to take off this ribbon cable, and then there's 2 screws here and there's 2 on the underside there, and then the front panel should just slide off. So there's 5 screws there to get this cover off. And then I'm talking about the effort they've gone to here. You know, they've obviously got this shielded back cover, and then there's this little board here that does some EMC filtering for that ribbon cable, and then the front metalwork's a cast piece of metalwork there. So I think most of this is probably for EMC purposes, but potentially as well they're trying to limit the amount of digital junk that creeps into the analog circuitry. So on this board we've got there's a microcontroller on the top there, and then there's one on the underside, or an EEPROM or something, and then the 2 devices on the left there, they are display drivers. Where I'm pointing to here, this is the infrared receiver circuitry, and you know, nowadays that's just all done in the actual infrared detector itself. So we can see our battery there on the right that we're going to replace, and here I'm just removing these. There's 5 of these standoffs that I've got to come out, so we take them out, and then once we're done that, on the top right we've got a regulator, 5V regulator, and there's a screw for that, and it's got an insulating washer on it, so you need to be sure not to confuse that with any other screws. And we can lift the board out from there and go ahead and replace our battery. Right, so I'm just going to hold the battery on one side, and then we'll heat up each of these joints one at a time and gently persuade the battery loose. There we go, and then we can clean up these joints. That's us all installed. So we'll maybe clean up those joints with some alcohol. And we'll check these capacitors as well. Maybe not so as critical as the ones in the analog board, but we'll check they're not dry and replace them as need be. Here we are after a battery replacement, then all the covers are back on, etc. And I think the first time we're going to power this on, we're going to get some error, which will then clear itself while the battery's charging itself up. So let's have a go. Error 2, don't panic. And then it's up to operating as normal, so that's all good. So we'll just leave that for a while, and that battery will charge up. Next time we turn it on, we shouldn't get the error. So that's the battery replacement for the Linn Kairn.